fees. The F word in travel. With an HSBC Global Money account, you can drop fees from Acapulco to Zurich. That means no fees here, bonjour, no fees here, howdy, and definitely no fees here. Pay no HSBC fees overseas with a Global Money account.
HSBC UK, opening up a world of opportunity. Available to HSBC UK customers with an eligible current account. Exclude some accounts such as the HSBC Basic Bank account. For mobile banking app users only. Non-HSBC fees may apply.
Hello and welcome to Audiobook Connection, behind the scenes with the creative teams. I'm Becky Parker Geist and I'm your host. Audiobook Connection is your place to learn about the audiobook creative process and for authors to learn valuable tips on producing and marketing your audiobooks. This podcast is sponsored by Pro Audio Voices, helping great stories come alive through audiobook production and marketing. Hello, and thank you for joining me at the start of 2024. It's a new year, and this is a time that we tend to think about our big goals in life. Where are we headed? What are we going to do? What is our new, what are our resolutions? What are the habits we want to change? And so we start to looking ahead to what we can, again, change or what it is that we would like to bring into our lives and what things we would like to let go of. And so I'm going to focus on that in a kind of a general way, but really a little bit, certainly in the audiobook realm and what we can do there. But this will pertain to all of your publishing work. And though audiobooks is my main focus, this will be relevant for you, even if you don't have an audiobook. So the first thing to really get clear on is, what is your biggest goal? And the question that I find is most helpful to me in trying to identify what that is what is it that I would like to have? Okay, so I'll just start with that question, but there is a companion question that is incredibly valuable, and it is a question that I learned through the study of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which I have found really helpful in my life and in my business, and so I'm going to share that with you. And that secondary question, the adjunct question, is what will having that do for you? Or if I'm asking myself, what will having that do for me? So, for example, if I were to say, I want to earn, $50,000 this year, okay, well, that's dollars in a bank. It doesn't really do anything for me in my day-to-day life. It will have an effect, right? But what I want, let's say just using that as an example, is that what will having that do for me is it will make it so that I don't ever have to worry about paying the bills. Well, what will having that do for me? Being able to be relieved of any stress around that. Well, if I don't have to worry about paying the bills and I have some leftover money, then I might be able to travel. That's something that, what will having that do for me? Oh, well, if I travel, then I can experience, the different cultures and meet new people. And so I'm just trying to give you an idea of the way that you can proceed down that path and keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. Go as far as you can with that. And I highly recommend doing this in a journaling context. You could also, if you find it easier to have someone else ask you those questions, you can just write out those two questions. What would you like, and what will having that do for you? And have somebody that is, that really cares about you, wants to work with you on this, to ask you those questions and to keep asking that, what will having it do for you? So that you can free up your mind and your heart to really explore what that is. Generally, if you keep going and keep going and keep going with that line of questioning, you'll find that you're really trying to get to that feeling of fulfillment, that feeling of just living in joy, of, feeling like you're living into your gift. There are a lot of different things, changing the world, having a big impact on the world in some positive way. Generally, most of us will end up in that realm in some way. And why is it important to get to that? Because it will really help clarify our why. When we have that passion behind why we do the things that we do each day, it really makes a difference. We can generate and have that feeling of fulfillment when we recognize that the activity that I am doing in this moment today, will it in time or, in process, it will get me one step closer to that ultimate goal. And in many ways, just recognizing that you're moving towards your big goal is almost like achieving it in the moment, and should be. So when I know that I'm trying to make this world a better place through storytelling and helping authors have a greater impact so that they are also creating this ripple effect of having the world just get better and better by helping people, understand each other more, bring people together, then when I do an email to somebody where I feel like that is a step in the process, then I know I can feel that fulfillment of making the world a better place right in that moment. It's not always about delayed gratification or, a delayed experience. It can actually, you can feel it right away when you are like living your life on purpose. So when you get really clear on what your North Star is, what your goal is, big picture, really backing out of that to understand what will having the goal that you have set do for you. It can help you both clarify what actually is important to you and maybe what you thought was supposed to be important or you thought was important, but turns out maybe it's not important. It's more about having an experience. We're all here to have experiences. What if experiencing abundance is something that we aren't yet experiencing but would like to experience, then, generating a certain amount of income could be a part of that equation. But most of us really, if we have enough food on the table, if we have a shelter, if we feel safe, then that's all that really matters. It doesn't matter how much money is actually in the bank, right? So this is just a way of thinking about and looking at and exploring this whole question of what is your North Star. Okay, once you have identified that and you are clear on where you're going, what you're passionate about, what you really want to accomplish in this world, then in some ways, that is like a rudder in the boat, all right? If your life is a boat, it's like a rudder. It will help you steer, keep your boat steered in that direction so that you are more likely to get there much more quickly, much more efficiently. But there's more to it than just the rudder, because if you only have the rudder and no engine, nothing propelling you forward, then you may be pointed in the right direction, but you're not getting anywhere, right? So we do have to take some actions, but knowing exactly where you're going, what that rudder is, where you're pointed, and then figuring out step by step, again, sort of backing out of it from where you want to be, backing to where you are now so that you can identify what your next steps are. Then taking those next steps, taking those actions is like your engine. Now, I'd love for you to just take a moment to think about that. And we're going to take a short pause and we're going to come back and talk about marketing now that you've identified what your North Star is. Would you like to earn more from your audiobook sales? If you're an author with an audiobook, you may have noticed that royalties from Audible especially, and other platforms as well, are frankly kinda pathetically low, disappointingly low. and unfairly low considering what it cost you in effort and resources to create it. How is it the retailers are the ones making all the money off your work and investment? As someone who started in the audiobook industry in 1981, I've found it frustrating that authors keep getting shortchanged. The good news is that Pro Audio Voices just launched Amplify Audiobooks, a direct sale audiobook platform for authors that puts you back in the driver's seat. Earn 65% of the gross sales price that you set. Compare that to the percentage of the percentage that retailers give. Run promotions on schedule whenever you want. Create coupon codes. Build community with your customers since you'll know who they are and how to contact them. Work with a caring, responsive, supportive team to help you succeed all along the way. Get help with marketing. Get paid weekly. We're helping audiobook authors who are frustrated by painfully low royalties and the barriers that prevent them from managing their own products and customers. Amplify Audiobooks is a direct sale platform that enables authors to earn much higher royalties and have way more control. We're disrupting the audiobook industry by putting authors first. Get started today at proaudiovoices.app or go to proaudiovoices.com and click on the Distribution Amplify link. Join the movement. Okay, so now you know what your North Star is, and you know what having that goal will do for you. You know where you're pointed, and you've identified some steps to get you there. And I know that hasn't all happened within the course of this podcast episode, but what I'm saying is that when you have gotten to that place, these are kind of the steps. Let's talk about how marketing can play into your engine, right? How it can be the fuel for your engine. Or maybe that's the wrong way to think of it in terms of the metaphor, but the idea being marketing when it comes to delivering your message or becoming more visible to your audience or finding your audience. This is what marketing is all about, is connecting with your audience, right? So it's really helpful to then identify what you want to do in order to connect with your audience. What are those activities? This is your engine moving you forward, right? Some of the things that we most commonly think about are things like social media, email marketing, starting a podcast. Maybe this is your year to start your own podcast, writing a blog, writing something. And it doesn't have to be every day or even every week, but doing something on a regular basis that is going to move your marketing forward and keep it moving forward. It could be, networking at physical events. It could be being a presenter, a speaker, either virtually or in person. There are so many ways that you can market, and that all is going to depend both on you and what you love to do, what you're passionate about, how you like to be out there in the world, and also depends on your audience, where they are, and, because you need to find them and connect with them in the process of your marketing. So if you're doing social media content, for example, you need to know what kinds of things your audience are desiring, right? So you're going to start identifying what some of those marketing pieces are that you're going to engage in. And here's the next key, and that is in terms of implementing those ideas. Do you have the information you need to be able to do it well? Do you have the team in place to be able to support you in your efforts or to take on parts that you want to have happen, but you don't want to do them yourself? All of that's valid. I think every single one of us needs a team, whether we're doing some kind of something we call work or not. We all need a team. And if we really think about our community around us and others who are working in the same field, even as potential team members, it can really take a lot of pressure off and make life a whole lot more fun. And it allows us to do what we do best, what we are most passionate about, and to really, actually get farther much faster simply because we're working with a team. So if there is something in the marketing realm, especially in relation to your audiobook, if there's team that you are seeking but is not yet in place, then I would encourage you to reach out to us at Pro Audio Voices, because we are working with lots of authors with their marketing when they have an audiobook. And it's not just for the audiobook by itself. We're really looking big picture at what are your biggest goals and factoring in your other books, your print books, your ebooks. What are the assets that you have available? How can we use your audiobook to help, as leverage to help you achieve your biggest goals? This is the way that we approach the work that we do, because we're not just about churning out audiobooks. That's not the point. The point is that we want to impact the world. We want to make a difference in the world, and that means making a difference for all the authors that we work with. That is our driving passion. That is my driving passion, to have that kind of impact. And so as we are working with authors and helping them, they're letting us know what they need, and we are responding and, developing programs to support authors with what they need, or connecting them with other professionals that we are connected with, that we know and can highly recommend. That's another part of the big picture for us. If someone needs, help with PR, we don't do PR, but we have a partner who does PR. It does our PR. So it could be things like, our website, for example. We do some work on the website. We have a partner that, that handles the things that we don't want to be doing or don't know how to do. And that person is a great person to refer for clients who need some website support. And it goes on and on. We have lots of people that I've gotten to know over years of networking at pretty high levels. And so that is then a wonderful sort of bank of resources that we can share with our clients. Another way that we share that set of resources, that bank of human talent, is through our access calls. Access calls are 1-hour calls once a month, and it's like mentorship. It's like marketing on training wheels. Or, if you're past the training wheels phase, you're just trying to level up from wherever you are, we have these calls that give you direct access to a high-level marketing professional that typically a consult call like that would cost you several $100s. And we can provide it for considerably less because of the way in which we have that we work with those professionals and do it in a small group so that we can make it more affordable for our clients. So that's just one way in which we provide this kind of marketing support. All right, I'm going to wrap that up for today. But if you have any questions about how to go through this process of figuring out your goals, or if you need help with marketing strategy, if you need access to marketing professionals, not sure where to turn, please reach out to us at Pro Audio Voices. We're here to help and really want to help authors succeed in the audiobook world. Have an awesome day, and let's make 2024 a truly great year together. Thanks so much. Also, one final note, we do have now a Patreon account if this podcast is of value to you, and I certainly hope it is, that's why I'm doing it. If it's of value to you and you can chip in $5 a month to support the ongoing work of the podcast and me being able to provide this kind of content on a regular basis, we would sure appreciate your support. It's at patreon.com/audiobook connection podcast. Thanks again, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for joining us for Audiobook Connection, behind the scenes with the creative teams. Please take a moment to subscribe at audiobookconnection.com. The podcast is sponsored by Pro Audio Voices, helping great stories come alive through audiobook production and marketing. Learn more at proaudiovoices.com. Again, thanks for being with us, and please join us next week.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.